Have you ever heard a podcast, audiobook, or a foreign film and felt completely lost? Don't worry, you're not alone. Gaining good listening skills is probably going to be the greatest challenge for language learners. But don't worry. Today, I'm going to show you how to learn in an effective way in order to develop your listening skills at a rapid pace. By the conclusion of this video, you could already have an action plan which not only enhances your listening, makes native speakers easier to comprehend, and increases your confidence with real conversations. So if you're serious to enhance your listening, click that subscribe button and let's go. Segment 1. Listen to familiar words. First, 95% comprehension. Perhaps the biggest mistake students make is diving headfirst into challenging audio material. Don't. Start with something where you have at least a 95% vocabulary foundation. Why? Because if you do know most of the words, your brain can use its energy to listen for pronunciation, tone, and rhythm of speech, instead of expending its energy on trying to hear each word. One of the greatest things you can do is listening to basic beginner talks, learner podcasts, or even simply reading aloud stories you've previously read. Practice is indeed perfect. Segment 2. Practice with simplified audiobooks. Audiobooks actually are one of the best methods for building listening skills because they enable you to completely concentrate on the language. But catch this, don't begin with high-level audiobooks for native speakers. Use plain audiobooks for the students instead. They have more straightforward vocabulary and slower speed, which is not so hard to understand. And something else, a teensy-weensy insider secret, essentially. One more thing. Listen to it with you while you read along in the text. Reading simultaneously and having your ears on the words will be a double advantage and help you to recognize words more easily when other people talk. Much quicker, that is. Segment 3. Watch movies with and without subtitles. Watching TV programs and videos is a great helpful method of conditioning your ears to hear normal speech. But it's what you're watching that's important. Start off watching with subtitles turned on in your new language, not the one you've learned to speak. This bridges the gap between hearing and reading. Next, watch with subtitles turned off. This forces you to listen with your ears alone. To push it a bit further, rewind and play back difficult sections to habituate your ears to them. Practice daily and you'll get everyday conversations so much better. Segment 4. Practice daily for 30 minutes, men. Consistency is the key to improve your listening skills. Make it a habit to practice at least for 30 minutes a day. You can listen to podcasts, audiobooks, news shows, YouTube videos, like this one. And here's yet another handy tip. Don't just listen like a couch potato. Try paraphrasing key sentences, summarizing in your own words, or even writing down new vocabulary. That makes listening practice even more efficient. Segment 5. Best websites for listening practice: BBC Learning English, English Language Learners Transcripts, lo.org, free listening practice drills numbered in thousands. TED Talks. Higher-level learners can listen with subtitles to follow along. LibriVox. Free audiobooks available in many different languages. Experiment with these and let me know in the comments below on which site works for you. Conclusion. Begin with words that are familiar to you. Listen to audiobooks with a lower difficulty level. Watch movies with and without subtitles. Listen for 30 minutes daily. Listen practice on leading websites. Which tip are you going to start with? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked this video, give a like and subscribe for more language learning tips. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Why motivation is important in learning English. Isn't it so you ever got stuck on learning English? Maybe you began well, but then somehow the energy ran out. Chill. You're not alone. A language is a something you must put effort on over time, and the single most important thing regarding being skilled at it is not practice, passion. You will push through the hard places with what good reason you have for needing to learn English. So, we're going to interview other students today and simply ask them a straightforward question as to why they are learning English, and then I'll give you some advice on how to stay motivated in your process. And if you want more English study videos, tap the subscribe button and let's get started. Segment 1. The Power of Personal Motivation. Every student has his or her own reason for learning English. Let's have a look at some students and see why they are motivated. Student 1. I simply love reading books on history, and most of the best ones come out in English. I would be so happy to be able to read them in English, not translation. Student 2. I want to be a professional tennis coach. English is the international language of the sport, and if I'm going to be coaching foreign players, then I have to be able to speak it. Student 3. My ultimate dream is to be employed by a multinational corporation. English will open the door to whatever I want: business, computers, or travel. As you will notice, each person has his or her source of motivation. It is most crucial to discover yours, a reason because of which you progress even in adverse learning situations. Segment 2. Having clear goals. Once you know your motivation, then it is time to set good goals. Studying English without goals is like traveling without a destination. You will be lost. Follow this to set good goals. Checkmark short-term goal: master 10 new words a week. Midterm goal: pass a 5-minute conversation with a native speaker. Long-term goal: pass an English proficiency test or get a job that requires English. It's easier to stay motivated when you know what you're doing it, because you can see how far you've progressed. Segment 3. Bring English into your everyday life. English is simpler to be motivated for if you can integrate English into your life. Don't look at English as something you learn in school, but as something that you use. Hear English podcasts on the gym. Watch your favorite English programs, first subtitled, then not. Do practice speaking by recording yourself, or practice speaking with a language exchange partner. Once English becomes part of your routine, you're motivated by default. One of the greatest things you can do to keep motivated is be surrounded by English. The more you listen and speak English, the quicker you'll progress. How to immerse? Take part in online English chat rooms. Find English-speaking friends. Go to English-speaking countries if at all possible. And here's a challenge. Post below and tell me why you're learning English. Let's encourage each other. Segment 5. Stay consistent and never give up. Motivation will ebb and flow, but consistency is the key. Even if you don't feel like studying, do something small each day. Watch a video, read an article, or do some speaking practice. The best students aren't those who study the most. They're those who never quit. Conclusion. Motivation is the key to learning English. Find your why, make goals, implement English into your life, and dedicate. Now it's your turn. Why do you want to learn English? Write your answer in the comments. And if you really want to learn your English better, subscribe for more helpful videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. The right way to learn. 3,000 words. Think learning 3,000 of the most useful English words. How much easier reading, speaking, and understanding would be. Students typically believe that they must memorize massive word lists in order to develop vocabulary. But is that truly the best method? Today's video, I'm going to explain why word lists are only effective for beginner words, why context words are actually more potent, and how we can encode words in long-term memory in the most optimal manner. Subscribe here if you would like to learn vocabulary the smart way, and let's get started. Segment 1. Word lists. Work, but just for simple vocabulary. Okay, now let's talk about word lists. They work when you're a beginner because they sort of keep you in touch. Learning basic words such as house, car, apple, teacher from a list is easy. But beyond the level of basic words, word lists won't cut it anymore. Why? Because words aren't definitions. Words have connotations which shift with context. Segment 2. Learning words in context. Works better. Consider how native speakers learn vocabulary. They don't memorize lists. They encounter and hear words in authentic contexts. For instance, the word run can have the following meanings. In order to go fast, he runs every morning. To operate something or to control something, she runs a business. To function, the machine is running smoothly. If you memorize only one definition from a list, you'll never be able to use words spontaneously. But when you're reading words on pages, hearing them spoken, and reading about them in novels, you can actually learn how words are actually being used. Segment 3. The power of repeated exposure. Have you ever learned a word and suddenly you were hearing it everywhere? That's because of exposure time and again, cramming words into your head. In order to really learn a word, you need to hear or view it numerous times across different contexts. This is the way you do it naturally. Read English books, articles, or blogs. Watch English TV programs, movies, or videos on YouTube. Watch podcasts and watch out for words you know. When your brain gets hit over and over again by the same word, it will stick. Segment 4. The best way to learn and memorize 3,000 words. Now let's combine. Here is the most efficient way to learn 3,000 words. 1. Begin with a starting word list. Master the most frequent 1,000 words. 2. Contextual learning follow-up. Read, eavesdrop on conversations, and notice new words. 3 record words you notice repeatedly. Carry a small vocabulary notebook. 4. Repetition of words every day. Flashcards, apps, or even sticky notes make it stick. Practice applying the words in everyday life. Use them when you speak, write, and text. And here's the surprise. Tell us a new word you discovered today in the comments. Let's learn together. Conclusion. Learning 3,000 words isn't memorization. It's knowing and using words naturally. Word lists are a good starting point, but they are not doing enough. Words are more meaningful when they're learned in context. It's by repetition that you memorize new words. So, now what do? Begin reading, listening, and practicing right away. And if you want even more awesome learning tips, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. The secret to speaking English with confidence. Do you ever find yourself wanting to dive in and chat in English but too shy to get a word out? Maybe you're in the office, coffee shop, or party and don't utter a word because you don't want to say something incorrect. Today we cover increasing confidence when speaking English, especially for office small talk. If you're ready to overcome analysis paralysis and tell it like you really mean it, hit that subscribe button and join me. Segment 1. The power of being confident in conversation. Confidence does not equal speaking perfectly. Confidence is being okay with using English in actual moments. Think about it. Native speakers also make errors while speaking, but they don't quit. The secret is not allowing fear to hold you back. Small attempts count for a lot. The more you do it, the more second nature it becomes. Segment 2. Start with basic small talk. Small talk is also an excellent confidence builder. No need for complicated vocabulary. Use everyday words instead. Here are 3 basic tips to start a conversation. Greeting. Good morning. How are you today? Observation. It's been really busy today, hasn't it? Question. Are you having a good day so far? Saying these little phrases at work takes the fear out of speaking and makes you at ease when dealing with customers or coworkers. Segment 3. Keeping calm. During speaking. Nervousness is perfectly fine, but here's how to calm your mind and speak with confidence. Breathe first. Breathe in deeply before you speak. Slow down. The faster you speak, the more anxious you become. Smile. It relaxes you and sounds like you're chatting with friends. The more you get used to speaking situations, the simpler it becomes. Segment 4. The more you speak, the more confident you become. The biggest mistake language learners make? Waiting until they feel ready to speak. But confidence comes from action, not waiting. Try this challenge. Every day for 1 week, start a small conversation in English. It could be with a customer, a colleague, or even a friend. And if you're serious about improving, subscribe now for more tips on mastering English conversations. Conclusion. English conversation confidence isn't about knowing every word. It's about trusting yourself to get it out anyway. Start with simple small talk. Overcome nervousness by breathing deeply and slowing down. Practice daily, even in short conversations. Now it's your turn. What's one English sentence that you'd like to practice today? Write it in the comments below. Why accents can be difficult. Had a conversation the other day where you just can't seem to catch what the other fellow is saying? Maybe you're accustomed to American or British English, but a guy with a Scottish, Australian, or Indian brogue starts talking, and bingo, you are lost. What did to one student in a coffee shop? A Scottish patron entered, and they just couldn't quite get it. If you've ever been through that, don't worry. I'm going to show you how to train your ears, listen better, and feel more confident with other accent conversations. Now, let's get started. Subscribe for more English learning tips from everyday life. Segment 1. The struggle. When you can't understand an accent. So, this is what occurred. I had one of my students in a cafe when a Scottish customer came in and ordered, "Aye, mate, can I have a wee cappuccino to go?" The student was paralyzed. They knew cappuccino, but the rest? Total confusion. This is because accents affect pronunciation, rhythm, and even vocabulary. And if your ears aren't attuned to it, it sounds like they're talking a different language. Good news. This happens to everyone. Even native speakers get stuck with weird accents. Segment 2. Why accents? Take time to get used to betrayed by the exodus of the Scottish customer. The student was embarrassed. They informed their manager, "I just couldn't make him out." And the boss reassured them, accents take time. Think about it. If you've only been exposed to one type of English, your brain isn't used to processing other accents. But with time and practice, your ears will adjust. Just like learning new words, listening skills improve with exposure. Segment 3. The teacher's tip: how to train your ears. The student informed their teacher, who recommended 3 solid tips for learning new accents. 1. Listen to different English accents. Watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, or interviews of speakers with Scottish, Australian, or Indian accents. Practice makes perfect. 2. Grab keywords. If you can't get all the words, get the keywords. Cappuccino, to go. 3. Ask for a repeat politely. Don't yell what. Do this instead. Could you repeat that, please? Sorry, I didn't get that. Can you repeat? These little changes make you a more assertive communicator and keep the conversation flowing. Segment 4. The best way to improve accent. Understanding. If you want to improve, this is the best way. Listen to English content with different accents. TED Talks, movies, and interviews are ideal. Watch with subtitles on first, then switch them off. This lets your brain connect sounds to words. Shadowing technique. Repeat after you've heard it, mimicking rhythm and pronunciation. The more accents you hear, the easier conversations get. And if you want more authentic English hacks, click that subscribe button right now. Conclusion. Learning about accents isn't great. It's all about training ears and learning to adjust. Don't panic when you can't hear. Get used to different accents through hearing practice. Use clarification sentences to keep speech flowing. And now I'd like to ask you, what's the hardest accent for you to listen to? leave a comment below. And if you like this video, give like and subscribe for more helpful tips on English learning. See you in the next video.